So you're welcome back once again, and it's still Talking Trends right here on Oxford TV, and we're still talking about the impact of culture on feminism. Abi, that's what we're talking about.
That's true.
The impact of culture on feminism, how we can be able to strike a balance, because in this part of the world, like I formerly said, a man is allowed to take a second wife. A woman is not allowed to take a second wife. Are those the kinds of things that we should be fighting for as feminists, or is not part of it? I mean, can a woman take a second husband? When Yul Edochie sometime back took a second wife and just came out on social media and announced that, I'm taking a second wife, you don't go about picky for me. How do we, strike a balance on all of this?
Well, I don't think polyandry is when a woman has more than one husband. I don't think it's in our culture.
It's the same thing, but we're not talking about feminism.
Do you know the reason?
And gender equality.
The reason is bride price. See, if we're talking about this issue of feminism, then a man paying a bride price should not even be in the picture in the first instance. He paid your bride price. So except you are paying somebody else's bride price. See, our culture in one way or the other mitigates a woman doing this issue of what a man can do, a man can do better. Probably cheat, which is not, it is by the way, but having more than one husband. The reason why we always have this issue of polygamy and women not being able to, because he has 2 wives or he has 3 wives, I have to have, how many women are actually financially independent? Many men, for example, most men who are polygamous actually have that huge source of, have that stream of income. For example, let's just stay with those who have, and most of the women who even, for example, who are being maltreated in their relationship and cannot leave is because when you ask them where I want to go, where I want to start from, waiting I want the job. So before we can talk about,
they prefer to cry in the Lexus than to
you understand?
But if you can buy that Lexus yourself, my dear, you would have moved now. So I think
that's the woke era now. This woman, there are women like that these days.
Well, there are actually women like that. How many are they? They are the few ones who we think are the bad examples. There are a few bold, audacious ones who you can't tell them what to do. They got their money and everything.
And those are the ones that carry the feminism fight, like Akara.
So you're not telling a woman, for example, that her husband is her all in all. He's the provider, the grand supreme, or grand commander of everything about life. You're now coming to tell her, he will be angry with you now, because you have the means and she doesn't have the means, and she will not likely listen to you. So that's part of the polygamy part.
It's not part of feminism, the fight.
I feel when it comes to feminism, it ends at having the same educational opportunities, having the same access to health, politics, to be right to vote and be voted for, and get a job. No, don't say because you can't get this job. Because the reason I can't get a job is not because I'm not qualified, but because I'm a woman. I think that is where it ends. But all this polygamy, polyandry and everything, I think it's not part of our culture. And if a woman wants to be that, your pocket.
How would you feel if a woman comes up to you today? Because men always, we also see that it's a man's, and we have been made to understand that it's a man's world. It's a man that will see a woman in a club and then approach her, I like you. But a woman can, if a woman approaches you and says I like you, how would you feel?
Continue the conversation from there.
Because you're in the woke era. A typical Igbo man will say, this one a prostitute. I beg. Do you understand?
For me, well, okay, you have a point there. Maybe because that's where I was brought up, or that's my own concept.
Your own orientation.
Yeah. So women bold speaking up, or I think it's fine. You understand? Then the issue of polygamy. I think one, it has to do with their educational background. Some of them, they believe, okay, maybe in most cases, yeah, the men marry another wife or a second wife on the third and the fourth, one, because the main reason is because maybe they're looking for a male child. But they don't know that the male and the female chromosome lies in the man. They don't know that they are the ones that are even responsible.
That's another education for them.
So they need to be re-educated as regards that. Then that is one. That's one of the major reasons. Another reason is you hear the term that men are polygamous in nature. Yeah.
So why does it have to be?
It's
women are not polygamous in nature.
It's
You know.
oh, okay.
Or is the society holding back some people?
That's what I'm saying. It's the
What
same
will
culture
just be
and society. We keep fighting. Our fight is enormous in this part of the world. When we talk about feminism in this part of the world, the fight is plenty. Because a woman even has to break out from the shackles of cultural belief. Up to date, you still have female genital mutilation. Up to date. And when it's done, women go through that to suppress their sexual libido or whatever. But if a man is circumcised, he's seen as he's a man. Do you get? So our fight in this part of the world. So when we even talk about feminism, it goes a long way. We understand the feminism just in the surface, in the sense that, okay, I'm a girl. I remember one time in Abuja, one of these big hotels, I'm not going to mention names, my friends and I were 3. We went to that hotel to have a good time. She hit a jackpot and she said, babe, let's go out. You get? We went out, we got to that hotel, say, this place that we've been passing. You know, this whole, I will not screenshot again. I will enter. You get? So we now say, okay, we are not screenshotting again. Let's enter and eat this food that they used to sell here. We got there and the bouncer said, where's the man?
You made a male escort.
Yes, we weren't allowed to enter. And trust my friend, now in our feminism, I have been a feminist herself. She gave him hell that day. Are you serious? I can't enter because my own money, my hard-earned money. You cannot, I will not enter. Let me see your manager. The manager comes out and says, madam, it's our policy and this, but we allow you enter. We entered, we ate, we paid for what we ate, and we left. They said because women come here to prostitute themselves. Putting all women inside one box, and the men are exempted. They are male prostitutes. A man will walk into that same hotel, sit down, be drinking one bottle of beer. He's prostituting himself. Because, of course, he's looking for all those big women. But no, because he's a man, it's okay.
No, it has to do with the ratio. If you look at the ratio of male prostitutes to female prostitutes,
are we talking about
statistics?
Ratio? Are we even at statistics?
Since we don't even have the statistics, let's not go there.
You can't remove
it's not even about statistics or anything. The point is that this happens.
It happens.
But it's just because the men are saying, oh, it's a man's world. Then it's okay for a man. I mean, he has the money. A boy of 20 years old can walk in somewhere. Me at my age, if I go to that same place, they'll say, Auntie Abeg, come they go. Do you understand? Yeah. And then again, I also blame women because of the way we portray ourselves sometimes. Do you understand? So when we're saying feminism, feminist in this part of the world, I don't even know how we're going to really fight it, because there's so many things mitigating against us as women.
We have, when it comes to this fight for equality, we don't have to be emotional about it. We have to be very rational. We have to be realistic about the goals. Then we have to have clear-cut goals. What do we want to achieve? I think at some point women have to come to a rallying table and let's have clear-cut goals. This is what we want. This is not what we want. Then how do we live out what we want? When we don't have a clear-cut goal, we keep blurring the lines, and that's where problems will always come up.
And you will also agree with me that most of the women were fighting for gender equality. Once that woman rises at the top, right? She forgets the fight. That's still another thing.
It's all about self. Are we doing it for self, or we're doing it for the collective good? Because you hear
gender. A woman in the board, a woman is talking, another one is telling her, like, You're not supposed to be saying that. You're not supposed to be saying that. You're not supposed to divorce your husband. In my village, whenever I'm going to the village, yeah, my mother will say, don't wear trousers. Because the women in her church, we see her daughter putting on trousers and fine her for her daughter putting on trousers. So-called women. In my village, if your daughter gets pregnant at home, your mother is ostracized from the church and the women league. Yes, up to today.
While the boy who impregnated her, what happened to his mother?
Oh,
nothing happens.
Nothing happens
Okay.
to his mother. But because it's a girl child. So how do we even, the fight is, I keep saying, the fight is plenty for us.
It's a huge task.
But we have to,
So, but how do
we have to start from somewhere. Like you said, we have to know what we want. So first thing is identifying the problem. Then, okay, we're fighting for higher pay for women or equal rights, or we just let us list out what we want, then we'll not work towards it, come up with solutions around it. It may have to, part of the solution may have to be reorientation. It's very necessary. That, and like you said, we're in the urban area, but we have to consider those in the rural areas too. So we don't just educate a certain level of people and leave out a certain level of people. So education has a major role to play. You see, a woman is being married off, or a girl child is being married off at a very tender age.
To a man of about 40,
maybe
50 years old.
Maybe as a third or fifth wife. Because they don't have money to take to educate the child. But if, trust me, that child is educated, she'll know, okay, she has a right, and she won't settle for less. She won't be a second wife. You understand? So first of all, we need to list out what we want to achieve, our goals, and educate people.
I mean, that's why we have International Women's Day. This year we said break the bias. Yes. And how many bias did you break this year?
In Nigeria?
We're still breaking it bit by bit.
Yes, still, I still have how many months to go. So let's see.
Okay, we're still breaking the bias. I think, okay, so what's your, I mean, we're rounding up now. What's your final word on this?
Women.
This
issue of feminism is for us all. Let's try our best to understand the issues. Let's try to understand these things, there's things militating against us and which we want to tackle. Once we identify these issues, it will be very easy, and how they affect us, it will be very easy to go about it and sort these issues. If we don't know the issues, we'll just be emotional about everything and just be scratching the surface until we are ready. And I don't think we are actually ready.
We're not ready. Women, we're not ready.
Are we ready?
Because we don't even agree amongst ourselves. Once one person breaks out of that clique, they are free. And then when other people are fighting, they will be the ones to even come out and say, hey, it's okay, they understand. Hey, it's just with time. With time. You understand?
So.
With time. Is there any time we would have any president in Nigeria? Do you see that? Vice president even.
Like I said, it has to do with female gender. They need to take it upon themselves. If you want to aspire in a particular field, whether it's in neuroscience, whether it's politics, stick with it. Be confident and have the boldness to go through. And trust me, there's no barrier to how much you can inspire. It's just have to conceive the idea in your heart and go with it. Because if without that self-determination, that's where that self-confidence needs to be imbibed in our kids growing up. Because when you are confident, you can aspire to anything you want to become. So, for me, feminism is something we need to take seriously. Everybody has a part to play, both the male and the female. Okay, so education is the bedrock. We need to reorientate ourselves.
All right, I think that's the much we can take on today. I mean, we can go on and on and on about this particular issue. It's, as far as it's still there, it can't be over-emphasized, it can't be over-exaggerated. We can't stop talking about it until we know that we have gotten to that level where we can say, okay, women are now receiving equal pay, where we can say a Nigerian female can become the vice president. I mean, America has a female vice president. Can't we have a female vice president in Nigeria? But the problem is, we women, are we ready to go the mile? Are we ready to take on that mantle? Are we ready to really have that conversation amongst ourselves and know that, yes, I am ready? And do we have other women supporting us? Because we'll come out and say women supporting women. Is it really a thing? Are women really supporting their fellow women? These are the issues surrounding feminism. That's why some people don't really understand what it really means. That's why a lot of us get it all wrong. When we say we're feminists, and then people tend to feel like, oh, you're fighting men. Some of us do actually fight men when we say, we hate on men when we say we're feminists, but that's actually not what it's really all about. So we really have to understand the fights we're in for and get the right equipment and get the right weapon so that when we are really there, and trust me, as a woman, if you get to that place, if you get to that seat, those men we are talking about, they will clean that seat for you. But you have to just get your priorities straight. That's all I have to say on this. So I hope we have made sense in some way, and I hope like at least some in a little bit we contributed our own quota to this fight, because we all here are feminists. Abi?
Yes, we are.
Judith, you're a feminist now. And we now, put you into from idealist to a feminist. So it's Friday, take it down, take a trip, take a glass of wine. The world will not end if you take a glass of wine. But consult your doctor, don't say I said. All right, and follow us on all social media platforms. Click on the subscribe button, subscribe, like, share, give us a comment. I mean, we have been trying, Nigerian government said we should provide work for ourselves, and we have provided work. Please be liking it now and be commenting, please. Yeah, thank you. So it's Friday, let's take it again. Raise up.
Yeah.
And cheers to the weekend.
Cheers to the
This is
weekend.
the part you snap. Why are you snapping?